Well, happy Friday, everybody. It's been a great week reading God's Word and hearing Him speak to our hearts. At least it's been for me, and I pray it has been for you. And also looking forward to worshiping Jesus this Sunday and encourage you to be in worship here at First Baptist. Remember, we have our contemporary services at 8:30 and 11 o'clock and our traditional service at 9:45. And also you're welcome to worship with us online as well on our YouTube channel and other locations. But today in our devotion, we are in Exodus chapter 14. And this is the chapter where Pharaoh changes his mind one last time and chases after the Hebrew people as they are leaving Egypt on their way to the mountain of God and eventually the Promised Land. And when he encounters them, they're camped at the at the edge of the Red Sea. And of course, it's the miracle of God parting the waters and the people of God crossing on dry land to the other side. Then the Egyptian army follows, only to be drowned as God allows the water to close back in on them. And so it's that great miracle that takes place when God finalizes the freedom of His people from slavery in Egypt. And the chapter can be summarized at the end. Chapter 14, verse 30, it says, "Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the land of the Egyptians." If you want one verse that summarizes Exodus 14 and really summarizes all of Exodus to this point, it's that verse. Thus the Lord saved Israel. The author, Moses, when he writes the book of Exodus, makes it very clear, abundantly clear, that God is the one who did all of this. God is the one who saved them, who led them, who rescued them, who protected them, who fed them, who did everything for them. That's the takeaway. But as I was reading the chapter, something else really jumped out at me as well. It's just a subtle thing, but I think an important thing that can help us know how to pray for people. In Exodus 14, before God parts the sea, at the moment when the people realize the Egyptian army is approaching and they are trapped between the army on one side and the sea on the other side, in chapter 14, starting at verse 10, here's what God's word says. As Pharaoh drew near, the sons of Israel looked, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they became very frightened. So the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord. Verse 11, then they said to Moses, "Is it because there were no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness?" I mean, wasn't there enough room there to bury us if we died? You had to bring us all the way out here to this place, so when we die, there's plenty of room to bury us? I mean, very pessimistic. Why have you dealt with us in this way, bringing us out to Egypt? As though they'd forgotten everything Moses had said previously. Verse 12, is this not the word that we spoke to you in Egypt, saying, leave us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. And I read that and I thought, wow. They had seen God send 10 plagues upon the Egyptians. They had seen the firstborn sons of the Egyptians, including in Pharaoh's house, die while their family survived due to the blood being put on the doorpost of their homes. They had seen God do so much, and yet here it is. They go right back to their old way of thinking. We told you before all this started, leave us alone. Just let us remain here as slaves serving. We're going to die. Same old, same old. And what it got me thinking was how difficult it can be for us as human beings to get out of our own way. How easy it is for those who struggle with addictions to stay in their addiction, people who are in abusive relationships to remain in abusive relationships. How challenging it can be for those who are downtrodden and beaten up to really believe anything will ever be different. And they can see good things happen, but they still expect or anticipate the worst. God can bless and heal and help, and yet their pattern of thinking has been so negative and so unbelieving and so beaten up and so frightful, so fearful for so long, they naturally revert back to that. Now, why am I saying all this? Because I think when you and I are ministering to people, caring for people, praying for people who've had a tough life, people who come from a lot of brokenness in their past, a lot of failure in their past, a lot of struggle in their past, that some of us are wired in such a way, we just say, well, why don't you get over it? Come on, you know, and we forget that sometimes the power of sinful flesh is real, that the power of bad patterns, bad ways of thinking is very strong. And I guess I'm sharing that with us today to say, let's have a little more patience with some people. Encourage them, yes. Challenge them, yes. But love them and pray for them as well. And understand that some people have had a life that's harder than ours, and it's more challenging for them to believe they can ever be different. Those old patterns are hard to break. They're hard to change. And what it really takes is a work of God. Now, I want you to notice, God came through for them in spite of their complaining. And how many times has God done that for us? So the word today is simple. Some people, because of their backgrounds and their past, their patterns, their habits, they've got more to overcome. And we need to show them some patience and some kindness, some love and some gentleness. We need to pray hard for them. We need to be with them and encourage them. And yes, we need to challenge them and hold them and hold up for them a better way, a different way. But understand that not everybody starts at the same place. Some people have more to overcome than others. And we need to show them the grace that God showed the Hebrew children. I hope this word encourages you. And maybe there's somebody like that you need to reach out to today and say, hey, just want to encourage you to worship with me Sunday and invite them to come with you. God bless you. I'll see you Sunday morning and look forward to sharing another devotion with you on Monday.